let's talk about a tiny bit about Nebraska and going forward, because going forward, USC, realistically, the playoff, it's out of the picture. I'm just going to say it. It's out of the picture.
Yep.
Because they're not going to win at Oregon. And 9-3, I don't think gets you in with the wins they're going to get. And even that being said, I have long said this is a 8-4 team. And I have been scoffed at long time because I have said that USC can't win on the road, and I am being vindicated in the worst, most heartbreaking way every single week. Nebraska is terrible. Nebraska is a bad, never should have been ranked team. That being said, I have so many concerns. I think USC goes into this game a 10.5-point favorite. I think that is maybe the line's not out already, is it?
No, not for 2 weeks from now.
Yeah, I didn't think so. I think they lose this game. I've long said I think they lose this game because Lincoln Riley cannot coach on the road, and I think I'm going to get called crazy again. And I pray I am wrong on this. It is just every time he gets into a big situation, he pisses down his pants and doesn't know what to do. Look at the Makai Lemon throw. You never make a wide receiver throw in the rain. What are we doing?
At midfield?
So ridiculous. And it's just that big thing. And I think it was Jeff, someone earlier said that they need a play caller. They need someone to be to tell Lincoln Riley, let's just calm it down. Let's just not do anything crazy.
Also, before we get fully into Nebraska, can we talk about that trick play? Because first of all, I can name 5 issues with it. First of all, they're basically in field goal range, right? And they have a very good kicker. Ryan Sayuri might be one of the best kickers in the Big Ten.
He's great, actually. Yeah,
he's a sleeping giant.
Awesome, solid surprise from the season.
Yeah, he's kind of a sleeping giant because he was a walk-on, was USC's backup, and has missed 1 field goal all year, and he hit from 54. So he's been very good. So first of all, you have him. You don't need to play funny games to try to get too deep and do dumb stuff because you have Ryan Sayuri. Second of all, like you said, it's raining. Third of all, you're down by 3. If you're down by 21, and the game's you need a spark to get you back in it. I understand maybe a trick play.
For example, Wisconsin ran, and this is a crazy standard, but Wisconsin ran a fake punt on 4th and 19 from their own 12. And got it. And then because they were down 30-0 at that point. This
is essentially a playoff game between Notre Dame and USC, and you're running a trick play. And look, Makai Lemon's an exceptional athlete, but and I don't really put, and I think you and I, Terrence, talked about this before we went live. We don't really put the blame on Makai for trying to throw if that's what they drew up, but
he doesn't know what to do. I don't put that on him entirely because it's not a situation he should ever be in, Casey.
Yeah, I know. There's just so many problems with that play. And look, you can erase that play and still that play could happen. And they could have still won the game. Is what that people.
That's the most frustrating part. I just threw my bracelet. That's the most frustrating part is because Notre Dame played better than them. They played so much better than them, and they still had so many chances to go win the game and couldn't do it. Yeah, that is why it's frustrating. That is why I am, even though it's 2 days later, I'm still just as frustrated as I was Saturday night. Casey, I told you pre-show, I am an intern at NBC Los Angeles, KNBC, for all my people in Southern California. I was in the I work in the sports department. I was trying so hard not to just crash out watching that game. Once I saw that, I put my head down for 3 minutes, not doing anything because I just could not believe what I was seeing.
I already know what's going to happen at Oregon, even though it's literally a month away. I know what's going to happen. Their DBs are going to triple team Makai Lemon, and Maiava, to his credit, he's a good quarterback, but the decision making problems are still there. He's going to try to force Makai Lemon.
Sorry. After this is a great point because I want to talk about this in a second. You go for it.
Yeah, I can we get to that in 2 seconds? All I'm going to say is,
this is a great question because I completely forgot to bring this up.
I want to give a little credit to Tanuk Hines because he was picking up the slack when Makai Lemon was getting double teamed. But I think it's very concerning if you're USC that you go from the narrative of having the best receiving duo in the country to Jacoby Lane's shaky, and if Makai Lemon is double teamed, he's useless. I mean, let's just be honest. Makai Lemon is a very good receiver, but Jayden Maiava is not a good enough quarterback to put the bread in the bread basket when he's double teamed. He was underthrowing Makai Lemon. And also another thing I want to point out about Jayden Maiava, he is not running enough.
Like, no, he's not. There's a lot of times where instead of tucking and running, he waits outside the pocket a lot, then has to throw it away. There's times where he could pick up at least like 3-4 yards and instead does nothing.
He's looking like the negative traits people were saying about Caleb when he was at USC. Yeah. That's what we're seeing. And I understand like his O-line has been good enough for him to have like a confident pocket presence and make the throws.
Yeah.
But they were free. And like, I want to lead that into this point here by Trojan Dale. What are we doing? Like, what are we doing? First of all, no one was blocking on that 4th and inches play. Like, what are your thoughts on it? I mean, I have my thoughts, but
Casey, 3 plays on 4th and short, and 1 was 3rd and short. They go bootleg to the wide receiver 4, bootleg to a tight end, bootleg to a tight end.
Bootlegs are so predictable when Notre Dame's defense is that solid and USC's offense is that stagnant. I'll put it that way.
It was terrible play calling. It was predictable. They did the same thing every time. It's predictable. It's ridiculous. Like, how is that the 4th and short play call? Like, it's limited to one option each time. Those were the only options. Now, I wasn't watching downfield. Those were the 1A options. Like, really? Best case scenario, he catches it short of the sticks and has to make a play?
Also, like, Lake McCree, you know, he's solid, but even if he catches that football, he still has to set the edge and get around.
Credit to Lake, he made it a pretty fantastic catch.
That was cool
in the first quarter.
That was pretty cool. That was
credit is due.
Yeah, that was a very nice like wide receiver catch. Can you pull up Jeff's comment real quick about Makai Lemon? Because there's that one, and then there's the one above it.
This one. Got it.
I don't think, like, to Makai Lemon's credit, he is the best wide receiver in the country. But one thing I will say about him, and this isn't his fault, is he does not have the size to go up like Jacoby Lane does in double coverage against 2 NFL caliber DBs. And I know he did it against Michigan, like you're saying. Michigan's secondary is way worse than Notre Dame's secondary, and Oregon's is a lot better than both of them combined.
Ooh, I don't know about that. Oregon's rolling out a lot of true freshmen. I don't know about that.
Okay, well, it's not – my point I'm trying to make is their secondary is not like Missouri State's by any means. I think Makai Lemon is an elite wide receiver, but to put the pressure on – I'm not even really hating on – I'm not hating on anybody. I'm not putting the blame on Makai. I'm putting it on Jayden. What I'm saying is I don't think Maiava has the talent yet to make a competent throw in double coverage. No. When have we seen him do it? The decision making has been an issue. I mean, he shouldn't really be.
Illinois and Michigan, he made some pretty decent, like to Makai.
Yeah,
some pretty decent throws.
Like in double coverage where he's locked up by a safety in a corner. Like, I just don't think that's the right read, and that's a big reason why he didn't throw it to him initially. And then when he did, it didn't really pan out until the second half. And by the time they were in the second half, it's like Tanook Hines was silent. So it's like you can't have one and the other.
They adjusted well.
Yeah, so I get what you're saying, Jeff, but at the same time, like, I'm not blaming Lemon. I think it's more on Jayden. Do you trust Jayden to not underthrow him there? I don't, right in the rain. I don't, seriously. I just don't think it's going to happen.
No, and Casey, can I be petty for a second?
Go for it.
In April, we both said that the weather in both South Bend, I want to say Nebraska, and Eugene are all factors. Yeah. And we were met with a thunderous, you guys don't know what you're talking about. The weather isn't a factor. Jayden Maiava was objectively worse once the rain really started to come down. And it clearly showed. Yeah. And I'm not fully blaming him. It's not his fault. He went from quarterback in Hawaii to quarterback in a dome in Las Vegas to quarterback in Southern California. He doesn't play in rain. So I don't blame him for that.
It was really the first time he ever played in rain.
It was realistically, it's very possible that was the first time he's played in rain. I mean, maybe in those Mountain West, some of those games, but we were both shot down with the rain. And I want to say that this is me being petty, of course. The weather was such a factor. It was such a factor in this game. And to think that it was never going to be a factor is so ridiculous.
Yeah.
And it's why, and it's part of the naivety. Is that a word, naivety? Am I making that up? I think I just made up.
Naiveness? I don't know.
I think I'm just making up a word. I'm going to use it though. Naivety. I think because of the naivety of USC fans that we believe that, I'm not going to say we, I'm going to say they believe that there is this perception that they're always going to win no matter what. I think it's ridiculous. And I kind of think it's holding the program back because I think it stops them from holding them to the actual standard. Because this is going off on a whole different rant now, because if you think at all times, and I'm not calling out anyone specific, if you think at all times that the team is going to go 11-1 or 10-2 without addressing the actual issues that the team has, that's not healthy. And I don't think you're ever actually going to get to a place that's like good, because you always believe that there is going to be this phenomenal success on the field, even when there's not.
I agree. I think a lot of that comes from the school. And I think, look, this might come across as a hot.
We got some detectives in the comments section, though.
Yeah,
thank you, guys.
Thank you. I also, for dog, same thing. Like, were those, maybe I'm being a little bit like persnickety, but were those throws from Maiava to Lemon in the Illinois game great throws, or was that just a great catch by an elite wide receiver? Like, I think you really have to answer that question yourself. I'm taking like that one against Michigan. It was a throw in the general direction of Makai. Makai has the best hands I have seen in a long time, and the best route running I've seen in a long time. So there's that. I want to bring up a name that is synonymous with Notre Dame and USC, and that is Chad Bowden. Okay. I don't know if he's to blame for the failures this year, but
whoa. Feels like an overstatement.
Well, let me just say something real quick.
Okay.
Notre Dame isn't quite as good as they were last year, but they're still going to make the playoff if we're being realistic.
That's a factor of their schedule working out perfectly, though.
Well, okay.
They play 3 games and they can lose 2 of them.
Yeah, sure. But they had a objectively harder schedule. And like we talked about USC's transfers, and he's a big part of that. He's the GM. USC's can you name, maybe outside of Bishop Fitzgerald, like on the defensive side of the ball, has a transfer done anything this year for USC? I mean,
Jared had that pretty cool pick. But that's about it.
You. Yeah. I mean, even on offense, like, am I tripping? Like, I mean, I guess the running back.
I'm not blaming Chad Bowden because Lincoln Riley can't coach a football game. I'm going to disagree with you on this one. I'm going to disagree with you on that.
But I do think but the thing I'm trying to say is like the culture of the team.
And I think Jeff does point this out. He did come in like late.
No,
January,
he did.
right?
I will say though, like not even forget I said the recruiting thing. Like if that's irrelevant, I get it. But like the culture of the team starts at the top, right? And him and Lincoln Riley are at the top. And so this idea, this like cockiness that like and I don't know if it's the same within the organization than like the fans, but like I feel like USC thinks they can go into Notre Dame and beat them. You know, like I feel like
I want them to think that. I want them to think that.
No, I think, which is not the issue, but I think it's almost like an underestimation of like, you can tell why would you run a trick play if you took your opponent seriously on the road? Would you really run a trick play? Would you really do that if you were?
No, I think that's a cockiness of Riley though, and it's a him. And maybe this does help your point, but it's like a him just being like not understanding the circumstances, which is an issue time and time again.
Yeah, and I mean, like to my point earlier, I don't know, I'll give him a full offseason, sure, but I think the point I'm trying to get at is there's issues at the top that trickle down. You know, so I think
I don't know. I'm going to disagree with you on this one. I don't blame. Once again, I don't blame Chad Bowden for Lincoln Riley forgetting everything. I'm trying to use the most descriptive. How do I put this?
You mean forgetting everything?
Being a terrible coach. I was going to say something mean, and then I scaled it back because I don't want to curse.
I mean, I think like the biggest thing with USC football right now is like, who do we blame? What
a terrible mentality to be in. And I'm not even saying that's like a bad thing for you, but it's just like
it's a bad mentality. But as critical thinkers, you have to think that way.
Ooh, are we critical thinkers now?
Yes, you can blame a lot of different people is my point. I think you can blame Chad Bowden for some of this. You can blame Lincoln Riley for most of this. You can blame Danton Lynn. You can blame the players. When it's all said and done, though, and this is what I want to get to, the common denominator is Lincoln Riley.
The head coach, yes.
Like
it all does come down to head coach.
Yeah, and I want to ask you, because I feel like we've touched on this a bit already, but like, is Lincoln Riley, like everyone, every week says Lincoln Riley this, Lincoln Riley that. Like, what's his biggest problem, like, for you right now? Like, specifically?
I mean, there's so many. I'm going to go with just it's this. It's Riley crashing out in big games. It's the James Franklin effect. It's literally just like whenever they get to a point where they should win this game, he forgets how to coach. That is what I think the main issue is, because I thought throughout most of the game, his play calls were pretty sound. It's whenever they get put in a big situation, and this is what we have seen, is he cannot coach in the big situations.